Yay! Welcome, everyone. Welcome to our our monthly marketing meeting to prepare us for the next phase that's coming in. We're currently still in the last days of the Taurus new moon, Scorpio full moon. We just had an incredible Scorpio full moon. I hope it was as beautiful for you all. It felt beautiful to me. There's some painful things going on, but with it just still felt like a kiss. It was like, okay, we're going to rip the Band-Aid off, but we love you. You're going to know that we love you as we rip it off. So that's what the full moon felt like to me. So I hope that everyone experienced some sort of grace with it as well. I am Monique, I'm the Moon Mama, and I am here with two beautiful.
I am Cheryl.
I'm Christine.
I am Cheryl. I am and I'm a facilitator in the Moon Room, supporting the Moon Mama and all of you in the group.
And Christine, we're all here to support you all. So welcome. And let me go to the next slide. Let's see. Okay, go ahead, Christine, you're up.
All right. So what we're going to cover today, we're going to be talking about.
I'm sorry, really quickly. I apologize.
Oh, yeah.
I just want to bless the space a little bit, just because it's so. I know. Okay, great. Just a tiny bit.
Yes, okay, please.
And so I just give thanks for each and every one of us who is here, for those of us who are listening at a later time. I give thanks for our families and our communities and the world, that as we're going through this changing, dramatic experience that seems like it's filled with chaos and uncertainty, I trust and know that the road will meet us where we are, that we are being led and guided by the light and the power and the energy of the moon. We're connected to the power of the planet. We are charged by the energy of the sun, and we are exactly where we're supposed to be. We are exactly where we're supposed to be, and all is well. And so I know that this meeting is sacred and blessed, and all is well. I give thanks, I let it be, and so it is. Ashe.
So it is.
And so it is.
Thank you. You know, every time when we are getting ready to do this, or when we start discussing kind of the energy of the next cycle, we get a taste of it. It's just kind of what happens. And this day has felt so like it's hilarious to me that we're doing this call on how to break free from mental prison, because I feel like that's what I've been fighting myself all day. So we are talking to ourselves as well as you. Yeah. So how to break free from mental prison and constructs. So we're going to talk about what is mental prison. You know, we'll break that down a little bit. And we're going to talk about 3 strategies or ways to break free. We're going to talk about the upcoming Gemini Sagittarius moon cycle. It's Gemini new moon, Sagittarius full moon in this next month. And we'll give you a little overview and a preview on that. Talk about the moon phases, and also how you can go deeper if you are not a member of the group, how you can join us in the Moon Room. So what is mental prison, and how do we end up here? This whole concept of the idea of mental prison is that, you know, a lot of times we don't realize how conditioned we are by our thoughts, or even whether our thoughts are believable. You know, like a lot of times, like, thoughts come and they go, and there's different ways that we end up in a place where we get mentally locked in to a way of being, to situations. One of them being, you know, sometimes it is just our inherent nature. If you look at somebody's astrology chart, some people have more mental energy than others, and that's going to be more part of your experience, is how to overcome that, how to work with the mind, how to have the mind serve you instead of you serving it. Monique or Cheryl, do you want to talk about some of these other things too? I wanted to kind of mention like the sort of inherent nature, and there's other ways that this happens as well.
Absolutely. I'll jump in and talk about conditioning and cultural and family, like family and cultural conditioning. You know, it's one of the things that I'm very aware of as a Black person in America, that there is like a code of ethics of what it means to be Black and and how you should participate and the experience. And when I was a child, I felt very much like my Blackness was my prison. I felt like it was a disability because of the way we experience this world and this country. And I have had to look at that and see and ask myself, do I want to hold those things as true? And it was a lot of those things I inherited in my family. If you step out in a different way in the community, I remember once I was dating a white man and there was just a lot of pushback on it in the community. And so just giving yourself the permission to be different than what we're told to be in our cultural, whether that be Black or Asian or woman or anything, it doesn't matter what it is, but there's this cultural conditioning that comes along with that we are going to be able to look at this month as well.
I can speak to that, the trauma piece. For me in my childhood, I had a lot of trauma around my sexuality and abuse that I experienced early on in my relationship to my pleasure, into my passion, into my purpose, and the mental constructs that I placed around what my sexuality meant, what pleasure meant. And that came from the early traumas that I had as a small girl. And then I had to work to get myself out of those perspectives as I evolved, as I moved through my process.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that we all, we experience this phenomenon of mental prison in many different ways. And speaking to how you begin to shift that, there's really distinct phases of it because we're all in a different place with it. Sometimes the work is just identifying that you're in the place, identifying that you have thoughts or you have perceptions of how the world is that may or may not really be reality, but it's how you see it because of the way that life has shaped you. So the first strategy, and this is for when this is like more of the beginning phases, and it's leaning in. You cannot get out of mental prison by making it a mental exercise. You can't use the same tools. And so the one thing that you really have to do, and this is very much a Gemini kind of thing, is you have to get really curious about what's happening. You have to get curious about the pain, why you react to certain things, why you have certain fears. And really the first step is actually being able to sit with it, being able to get uncomfortable, to be in the discomfort. What you have to be able to see is what's underneath it. That's really it's like until you can get to the place where you can see it for what it is, it's really difficult to shift it. So you have to almost move into it as opposed to try to move away. And so you have to be willing to feel what you're feeling. You have to be willing to sit with discomfort and recognize what is the need that's underneath this, or why did I create this pattern? What was it protecting me from at one time? So the really in the beginning stages of trying to break free from these kinds of patterns, leaning in is where you start.
That is so good. Okay. Pattern interruption. So once we do the work that Christine just talked about, which is the leaning in and paying attention, then when you're leaning in, you begin to see your patterns. When you begin asking the questions of where did this come from and why do I do this, and how is this serving me? How is it keeping me trapped? Then you begin to interrupt the pattern. And for me, in my own experience, this has been really rigorous in my relationships, because my early childhood conditioning, I created patterns of codependence and believing that I didn't have any value and worth. So I would attach myself to people or experiences that gave me a sense of safety, that made me feel like people were going to save me or rescue me from myself because I didn't feel like I had any value myself. So as I began to lean into those behaviors, I could then see them clearly, and I could feel them, but then there always comes the time when you have to jump off the cliff and actually change the pattern. And it feels like you're gonna die because it's, your brain is wired in that way. Our feelings and our emotions, all of those create brain patterns that then connect to our nervous system. And so it's as simple as like, if you're gonna stop eating cake at 3 o'clock every day, if you're gonna stop stop smoking cigarettes, or if you're gonna stop drinking, any sort of patterns that require you to create a new behavior, for me, it has been terrifying. And so I've had to interrupt the pattern by creating new habits. And it's something that I have to do over and over and over and over again. And then what happens is you build a new muscle, your nervous system begins to wire in a new way, your mind builds new pathways, and then you're a new person. But it takes time and it takes practice, but you will become new, and it's really fun and amazing at some point after you die a few times.
That sounds intense.
It is intense. You know it's intense.
It's intense, I know. So, but it's possible, right? And for me, that's the building a new habit and rewiring the nervous system, rewiring the brain so that we have new pathways. It brings us into the process where we need to start to deepen in our new pathways, and we want to create connections within the new habit. And it's an awesome thing, because when you naturally start to initiate yourself in new ways, the universe naturally shows up and brings you into connection with the people, places, and situations that you need, that are already in alignment with where it is that you're wanting to now claim your experience. And this is why they say, surround yourself with like-minded people. This is the reason why making a decision to have a coach or to join a group, but to put yourself in to the frequencies that you're already wanting to be in, and aligning yourself with the people, places, and situations that can create the new story, that can help you start to tell you new story, come up with the new language, come up with the new words that are going to support you so that you can be in this place. So it's really about bringing yourself to that inner shift, getting super uncomfortable, being in that inner shift, and then stepping out and grabbing hold of the people, places, and situations that are going to cause you to have to put into practice this new way of being. And that's why I think being part of the Moon experience is an awesome opportunity, because we get to do that in this cycle. Yeah.
It's powerful work. The thing that I love about the Moon with it is that we're aligning with what the universe is, what the planet is doing, and it's like flowing with the rhythm and not against it.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Okay.
So this upcoming cycle that we are moving into, the Gemini Sagittarius moon cycle, the focus or some of the themes that are going to be emerging during this time, Gemini is all about the mind. It is about your perception, the way you communicate. Gemini is a light, kind of playful, curious energy, and it's flexible. Sagittarius is expansive and optimistic and very idealistic as well. And so what what we're really going to be looking at, and we go a lot deeper into the themes. Like I do a call actually monthly on the astrological themes for the month, but this is just like a little snapshot. But the question here is, how do I free myself from the limitations of my mind to allow higher intelligence? And so really what we're looking at diving into in this upcoming month is exactly this work of like reframing, you know, like why do we think the way we think? Why do we perceive the way we perceive? And can we get out of the way of that enough that we can actually allow something beyond just the egoic mind, and we allow our higher intelligence to animate us instead? And so that's really like, that's the theme that's going to be the focus this month. Monique, do you have anything else to say about the astrology?
Well, the thing that it's so exciting is that we have Venus going into retrograde this month, which in Gemini. So the Venus energy will definitely impact us and give us a greater level of connecting to our hearts, which is so significant to have that mind-heart connection at this time. And I think Mercury is going to be retrograding at the end of this, or starting its shadow at the end of this cycle as well. So we have a lot of new energy that is available to us if we're willing to do the work and make the commitment to come out on the other side of this completely new, like a new person. And the eclipses are coming, I think.
And the nodes just moved into Gemini. So we've been in the Cancer North Node for the last 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Or 18 months, I think
18 months.
18 months. And we just moved into Gemini as a North Node. So we're really supported in this.
Yes.
Like there's some really, like a lot of Gemini energy surrounding this as well to work with. So this is a great time to really like give yourself a tune up, like any old concepts that need to die, any ways of thinking that need to die, like this is the time to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And Cheryl is a Gemini.
Yeah, I mean, I think we do this sort of work in all the different phases of the astrology, but the reality is the manifestations we live in, they're on the mental plane.
Yeah.
So you're always having to shift perspective in order to be in a new reality. That's like a tool that is going to serve you forever, because that's how it happens. You're always shifting perspective to allow yourself to step into the new conditions that you desire to experience yourself. So I'm super excited. I love this stuff.
Yeah. Oh, good. Okay. You're up, Cheryl.
So that thank you. We have the moon phases. And so the moon allows us to step into the process of identifying what it is that we're wanting to focus on. So what do we want to focus on this month? What mental constructs do we want to tip upside down and build new constructs? So this allows us to identify what our outcomes are going to be. It creates an opportunity for us to plant those outcomes into our subconscious mind and to clear away all of those outdated belief systems and thoughts that don't support where we're going. And then it puts us in a position to then gather to us all of the things that we're going to need to build those new constructs and put them into place to see us through to the end, where we're actually doing the end line dance. And yes, we've come to this new place. So it's an amazing tool for transformation. And my experience has been, the longer I do these phases, the more I acknowledge in my embodiment of them, because the moon and the phases are a mirror of us. We are naturally going through this process, consciously or unconsciously. So now I'm in this phase where I can just know exactly what part of the moon. I can look up and already know where we are in the process, which really allows me to be in this really awesome rhythm with nature. So this is a magnificent natural tool for transformation, and it really brings you so much closer to the essence of who you are as a natural sentient being in the universe, in the cosmos. Yeah.
Ooh, that's so
And
good.
so it is.
And so it is. So how to break free from mental constructs. So during the moon cycle every month, we have been so blessed to create a system that works. It works in that it connects every participant into their subconscious self. It is a language. That is what I will say. It is a language, and it is a language that includes symbols, cycles that are moved through the moon phases, through practices, rituals, meditations to support you. And one of the things that I've not really said in the years that I've been teaching this that I really want to say now is that it takes a couple of months to really get it good, so that you become one with it and it becomes one with you. And since I've been teaching a while, now I know, like I've had people say, oh, it took me 4 months before I really got it and really started to flow with it. And so I just want to say that off the bat, that coming into the work, you will get it, but it will take a minute for you to come into it and feel it, and for it to become like breathing for you, or like something that feels very much like second skin. But it will, if you give it a chance.
Yeah, that's a great point. It really, the moon cycles, the phases move fast. And so sometimes, like when I first started doing this work, it sometimes just feels like I'm trying to hold on. But you, like, if you really embrace it as a practice, like you internalize it. And that's really the point. It's like you want to breathe these phases and live these phases, and just be aligned with the energy of the phases. And so it takes some practice to really get that.
I want to add something to that.
Yes. Go ahead.
And for me, I remember when I first started doing this, it's like a decade ago. You know, the moon cycles and us as human beings, we operate with a balance of masculine and feminine energy. Mm-hmm. And there's parts of the moon cycles when I first started, I really loved being in the feminine part of the process. And when we would hit the masculine part of the process, and you'll get to know what I'm talking about, I had so much resistance because it wasn't my comfort zone. So there was certain phases that caused me to have to bring online parts of myself that I had left dormant for decades. So it helped everything about me begin to have this dance within me, harmonize my own masculine and feminine energies, and to bring things online in a more harmonious way. But I had resistance. Some phases, I just wanted to pull the blankets over my head. I was like, peace, I'm out. Mm-hmm. I don't do that now. But at the beginning, I had so much resistance, I'd hide. I wasn't showing up. I wasn't doing the assignments, or I wasn't weighing in the group. I was disservicing myself in the group when I did that, but it was a reality for me. There were some phases that were just my growth. I needed to flatten the growth curve a lot.
That's a great point. And that's something that I found that too, like when I first started, that you'll find that there are some particular phases that you might find like, oh, this one's always difficult for me, or why does everything blow up during this phase? And that's really good information. I don't feel that as much anymore, but I did. There were like 2 of the phases that I was like, what is going on every month? So yeah, it's a really good way to see where some of your limitations are, like talking about mental constructs.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so good. Okay. Okay, so starting on May 14th, we begin our new cycle with the new moon in Gemini and the full moon in Sagittarius. And so if you would like to join, what we ask you to do is we create an entire program for you for the whole month. And you get to choose 2 goals that you focus on. The focus of the goals is just to really give you something to hold on to while you're moving through the cycles and the phase. It's like giving your mind something to know that you're working on as you're moving through every moon cycle and doing the rituals and participating and noticing yourself. And all of this might sound like a lot, but it's really not. it's really, I think it requires about a half an hour a day, if that. Um, and then it's also very fun. Like as a woman, because I feel like as a woman, my power is through my subconscious. It's not in my physical strength in my physical world. Like my power comes through my subconscious and through my communicating with nature. And the more and more I do this work, the more I can just think thoughts and they will manifest so quickly because I know that I've tapped into the energy of the moon and the cosmos. So I can manifest really quickly with very little effort, which is so fun. Oh my God, it's so fun. So that's what you have available to you, like to be able to learn to do this work so that you can create the life that you desire easily. Christine, you
Oh
want to
yeah,
go?
do you want to cover these? Okay, so this is a little bit about what is included in the group experience. We have the private group in Facebook that is where all of these things take place. We have daily guidance, so we do videos for you at the introduction of each cycle, and we're available in the room if you have questions. We have rituals during the 28-day cycle. You have access to Monique, Cheryl, and I in the room. And you have the library, which is huge. This has been going on for a long time. So there's a lot of great material there. And you have accountability exercises. We have a monthly astrology call. There's 2 meditations during the moon cycle. There's one at the new moon and one at the full moon with breath work. And then I do the monthly astrology call halfway through the cycle. And so we kind of, there's a balance of activity and calls during the month. And we're also there to support you the whole way through.
Yes. Do you want to add anything to that, Cheryl, by any chance, or no? Okay. Cheryl does a lot of the rituals. I just want to say that because we also have, there's an elemental component to this, which is a part of astrology. Every astrology sign has an element. So we're going to be working with Gemini. Gemini's air and Sag is fire. So those are the elements, and Cheryl leads us through that sort of, through mastery of that in ways that we don't have access to likely already, or maybe some of us do. I don't want to be presumptuous. Okay. So each month, the first month is, you can join for $20.20 for the first month. It is a subscription and you can come and go or you can stay. It's $97 a month after the first month. And every month you are automatically charged. So once you join for the $20.20, it will automatically charge you on the same day next month for the $97, and we just continue the work. But you have the freedom to come and go. You're not locked into anything, and you have the ability to cancel or join or any of that. We are offering that if you join or if someone joins with you, like I will give you a free reading just to support you in the work or anything like that. And yeah, and we're currently working on an affiliate program for people, if you join, and then you can have an affiliate link and you can share the information with people. And if they join and they sign up for a subscription, then you will get an affiliate payment from every person who joins underneath you. And so we're working on that now, and that should be available within the next month, I believe. So the code for this month is, the code for this month is 13 Moons Gemini, and I will put the link in our messenger group, and we'll also put the link to join on our public Facebook pages. So does anyone have any questions or anything? You can take yourself off mute if you have any questions. Or you can type it in the chat. Cheryl or Christine, is there anything else you want to say before we get going?
No, just that we would love to have you join us, and we look forward to seeing you in the moon room. That's all I've got.
Okay. Well, I like to say this is the most important cycle because the mind is, everything is created through our thinking, through our mentality, through how we create our mental constructs. So this is the time. If you're going to join, this is the best time, because learning how to reframe your mental thoughts are everything. So I encourage you to join us. All righty. Thank you, everyone.
Peace
You're
and
welcome.
blessings.
Thanks
Thank
for being
you.
here.